So in this webinar, I will cover basics of SEO, keyword research, on-page SEO, and off-page SEO. So a bit about myself. I'm a clothing brand owner turned business consultant and SEO specialist with 20 years apparel industry experience. I love helping designers build a purposeful and profitable clothing business so they can make a living doing what they love. So I had a decade working in corporate, like for large companies, and I also ran my own clothing design company for 10 years. I started Chase Your Dreams Consulting. It's a consulting company that offers SEO and business consulting for apparel companies. And I'm also hosting an online summit called Apparel Business Summit. It's actually open June 30th, and I'm in the process of launching it. So stay tuned. I guess if you guys have subscribed to my list, you'll probably get an announcement once the summit is open for registration. So there's going to be a really good panel speakers this year with a lot of experience. People who've worked in the industry have like years of experience. I have one like executives from Lululemon and from Reebok as well as who's going to be presenting.
Will this be in person or online also?
Yeah, it's online.
Oh yeah? Oh sweet, okay.
Yeah, so there's going to be 9 presentations. So everywhere from there's going to be branding, it's going to be sourcing, fabric sourcing, and how to source over, and also how to source overseas factories, financing, product management, distribution channels, digital marketing, a lot of stuff that we're going to cover. So
I really enjoyed it last time, so I definitely.
Oh, great.
Check that out. I will keep an eye out for the notification.
For sure. So let's talk about what is SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization, which is the practice of increasing the quantity and quality of your traffic to your website through organic search engine results. So in SEO, ranking refers to your content's position on the search engine results page, or SERP. A #1 ranking means that when people search for a particular term, your web page is the first result that shows up, apart from the promoted results or paid advertisements. Appearing in the top 3 results is excellent because almost half of the clicks on any search results page go to those positions. And you want to rank on the first page at least, because 95% of people don't make it past the first page of Google. So you want to rank at least in the top 10 results on the first page. So just quickly going over how Google actually works. So Google has automated software called search bots or spiders, and these bots visit web pages in a process called crawling the web. Then they add the pages they crawl to Google's index, which is a huge catalog of trillions of web pages. And when people do a search, Google shows the most relevant results from that catalog. So I've created a diagram here to put it in a visual way of what SEO is, because as creative people, myself, I'm more visual. So when I see this, it helps me understand it in a more clear way. So if you think of SEO, it's like these 3 circles, right? So there's technical SEO, which is the process of optimizing your website for the crawling and indexing phase. Then there's on-page SEO, which is the practice of optimizing the individual pages in order to rank higher in the search engine results page. So these are activities that take place that are directly on your website. And off-page SEO means the actions that are taken outside of your own website to impact your rankings within search engine results page. So an off-page SEO activity would include something called link building, which is something that I'm going to go over in this presentation later on. So in a nutshell, this is what SEO is. So we're all familiar with Google, what Google search engine result page looks like. So when you go in and you do a search in Google, you'll see this result that comes up. So say you type in organic cotton t-shirt. And then so you see, these results come up. You see the first two results here are paid advertisements because you see the word ad right next to it. But right beneath there, those next three results are organic results. So those are number 1, 2, and 3 results that come up. So that's the number 1 ranking result for organic cotton t-shirt, right? Is simons.ca. So did you know that Google has 200 ranking factors? And this actually surprised me when I found that out. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. So these are all part of like Google's algorithm, how they rank website pages. So there's all these factors, like 200 things that they take into account when they're ranking a web page. So this is part of a job of an SEO, is to be able to optimize everything on the website in order to rank. But it's impossible to do all these 200 things, right? So I really had like broken it down into the top 10 most essential ranking factors. And I actually created a checklist around it so that you can follow along. I can actually include a link to this later on. You guys can download this checklist.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry, when you go over the top 10 factors, should we be taking notes, or will you be sending that out to us later?
Oh, that was in my other training.
Okay.
Yeah, my other training on how to use SEO for your clothing brand. So I actually, okay, I'm gonna put a link to it. It's a YouTube video for you guys, and I actually talk about these top 10 in that video. I'm not gonna go over that today.
Okay.
So yeah, I can give you the link to that, and then I'll also give you the link to this checklist afterwards, after this presentation.
Thank you.
No problem. So let's talk about keyword research, okay? What is keyword research? Keyword research is the process of discovering words and phrases that people use in search engines with the ultimate goal of optimizing content around those terms and ranking for those terms in search engines. Why is keyword research important? Well, keyword research impacts every other SEO task that you perform, including finding content topics, on-page SEO, and outreach and promotion. It's the most important thing. Like, it's a starting point for any SEO program. It all starts with keyword research is the first thing that you would do. Okay, so I actually had a training 2 weeks ago that was specifically on keyword research, how to do keyword research, and the tools to use and all that. I'll kind of actually go over that with you guys today, and I actually can show you how I do keyword research.
I would find that very beneficial.
Okay, for sure. You know what? Before I get into on-page, all this stuff, maybe I should do that first. You know what? I'm gonna get out of this. Just so you know what I'm talking about, I'm just gonna touch briefly about like how to do keyword research. So there are several tools you can use to do
Like
keyword
Google
research.
Analytics.
So there's Google Keyword Planner, which is part of Google Ads, but there's also a free tool, and there's paid tools as well. So I use a paid tool called SEMrush. I think there's a free trial version of SEMrush that you can try out. Google would suggest is a free tool. So you can like look up keywords. For example, here, let me screen share this with you guys here. So yeah, this is what Uber suggests look like. And like, for example, you can type in a keyword. For example, let's look up sustainable fashion. And then you select the country that you're based in, and then just hit search. It's taking a little bit to load.
Oh, is this Neil Patil run?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Neil
I've watched a
Patel.
bunch of his stuff too.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's quite good.
It's like, yeah, like.
I
SEO
actually had a
guru.
division of this guy do some SEO for me, like back in the day, and I guess like the account manager that I was working with, he was actually pretty good at like kind of explaining what he was doing, but I could never actually like do it on my own, like where to check these things. And sorry.
Oh, okay. But you had hired someone to do the SEO for you?
Yeah, I did do a brief like at the end of 2018, I think it was, around like for 3 months, and like the backlinking and everything,
Yeah.
which
And
is
did you
so
see like an increase in
Yeah,
traffic and your
I did.
rankings?
It did do a little bit, like it definitely tapered off since then, but
Yeah.
it's difficult to know if it's because just the web presence, like the whole thing has changed kind of, which it has, the brand has evolved quite a bit, or if it was because I didn't maintain it. Either way.
Yeah, it's always good to maintain your content and do updates, because like Google's thing is like they're looking at your site is like it's active. So one way to do it is to, update content. So if you have blogs, like maybe every 3 months or so, go in there and like
Oh,
not
really?
only are you posting, it's not just the frequency and the amount, but it's not just the quantity, but the quality, right? Is one thing you got to keep in mind. Is that you're matching your articles matching the search intent of the person who's like who's searching for it. So like that's a big Google ranking factor, is that Google looks at, um, are you providing a good user experience for people? Are you an expert in the industry? Do you have credibility around, um, around your niche, around your industry? And it's based on all the things that you publish, like on your blog posts and stuff, and what you talk about, that is actually making people go to your site and want to stay on your site as well, right? So you want to be able to provide value in your content to your audience, right? To your target audience. And a good tip to know in terms of number of, like a word count, for a blog, usually they found that around 1,800 words is optimal on average, yeah, for helping you rank your
Okay.
site. Okay, and make sure that you optimize each page around the keyword that you want to rank for. So for example, let's just get back to this. So sustainable fashion, say that's keyword that you want to rank for. So you want to see here this result that tells you, well, keyword, the sustainable fashion has been searched 8,100 times in a month. This means a search volume. This is cost per click if you're doing paid ads, okay? And this is like SEO difficulty. The higher the number, the more difficult it is to rank for the keyword, right? estimated competition in organic search. The higher the number, the more competitive it is. So, I mean, fairly competitive keyword, I would think. But here's the thing, like in this tool, it actually gives you other keyword ideas. So when you're doing your keyword research, right, I would start with, like, for example, opening up a spreadsheet. And for example, like I have 2 clients here that I'm currently working on. There's this company is called Gem Atelier, and she produces like artisan made sustainable fashion. She's based out of Berlin. And so I'm in the process right now of keyword research. And I like asked her first, like, I'm like, okay, describe your brand, describe who your target audience is. What are some keywords, you know, that you think people will be searching for your brand? And so we came up with like a good list of 20 different keywords. So she had all different, you know, keywords, folk fashion, bohemian fashion, artisan clothing. Like, so I went and searched all of that stuff. And so I created like a spreadsheet and started plugging in all the keywords. And next to it, I put like the search volumes. And so you want to find like keywords that have high search volumes, but have low competition, right? And when you're starting out, it's better to go with something called like a long tail keyword than something that's like a shorter, like it's called a head term. So long tail keywords contain like at least, you know, about four words in it. So maybe something like, you know, what is a sustainable fashion brand? That could be a long tail keyword. So that could, you know, those words like could have lower search volumes, but if you try to put in, use more of the long tail keywords that looking for, it's easier to rank for. But if you combine like all the search volumes, like for this certain keyword, like that, it actually adds up. So if instead of trying to go for a highly competitive keyword, you might want to go for more like a long tail keyword.
Okay. I have a question here, if I may.
Yep.
Would you say that sort of like the quality of your keyword, like we were saying the long tail kind, and then looking at the competition and the volume would be the most important things to look at, and not necessarily the cost per click? Because I've noticed that some of those more niche down terms have a much higher cost per click, but perhaps it's less I'm not sure how. What would you say would be the ideal cost?
Well, I think like ones that are higher cost per click are more competitive, right? Because they're charging more for it. So I would go for, let's see.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, like in this case here, paid difficulty.
I see. So that's
higher the number, the more competitive. See? This is like pretty high.
And that would be for all terms that fall under that branch, right?
Yeah.
Like sustainable
That's
fashion.
why I would go with more of like a long tail keyword in this case, because you look at this, the search volume is high and they're like, yeah, okay, obviously, you know, it's high search volume, but look at the difficulty, right? To rank for this, there's brands that have been around longer that have like more marketing dollars that they're putting behind it. Like, that's the thing. Like I'm looking at it and say, like, sometimes my customers want to rank for a certain keyword, and I'm like, well, you know, factor in the competition, who are dominating with these keywords. Like, they're running paid ads at the same time, right? They have a lot of traffic to the site. They've been around, they're established. Also, domain age, like how long your website's been around, also has a factor in it. And also like backlinks. There's a direct correlation to the number of backlinks and your ranking and your domain authority, actually, which I will actually talk about that later. But that's why, like, you know, instead of going for a highly competitive keyword, you may want to look at doing something a little bit like more long tail. Like, and it gives you like more keyword ideas, right? And then it actually shows you like these sites that are ranking for this this keyword, good housekeeping. You see their traffic here. So they get like over almost 2,500 visits a month. The good trade is it's like I don't know if you guys have heard of this. It's like a blog or something on sustainable fashion. So these are like very high ranking, high domain authority websites that rank for this keyword. So unless you want to beat these, it's kind of like hard to do, right? So maybe go for something like, and kind of work your way up. So yeah, so that's keyword research, how you would start doing it. And this is a tool you can use to do it. Like for example, this here, when I started with, I was doing keyword research for this company, the Good Tea. She started she launched her site in October of last year, had like pretty much like from scratch. We went in, fixed up her technical SEO, and I went in and did keyword research. She wanted to rank for fair trade organic cotton. So organic cotton t-shirts. So she produces a line of fair trade organic cotton, like basics, t-shirts and blanks, which she sells wholesale. So she wanted to focus on more business to business. So yeah, like I told her to, fix this title tag, put in your keyword here, put in your keywords in the second line. These two sentences are called your meta description. So you want to make sure you put, your keyword here. So fair trade, organic clothing here. And then, and also in the page as well. So I'm going to go over on page right now. So before, like when we started, like there was other Good Tea websites and they were all like above her. Her site was not even showing. Now it's showing like the #1 result when you search for the Good Tea. And also she's ranking #1 for, these keywords right here. If you type in fair trade, organic cotton t-shirts wholesale, like she'll come up #1. So how we did it was that I'm going to go back to my presentation now. Oops, actually, I was going to show you her site. This thing keeps popping up. Never mind. Okay, can you see my presentation now?
No. See the Google page.
Just the Google page? Oh, weird. Maybe I have to go back and share. Is this all making sense to you guys so far? Like, are you following along okay?
It is. I wouldn't mind if you got deeper into it, but I don't know what level everyone else is feeling at. So.
Okay.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Bernetta. I'm going to go back to my presentation now. About on-page SEO. Okay. So on-page SEO is the practice of optimizing individual web pages in order to rank higher and earn more relevant traffic in search engines. So these activities that take place on your actual website. Can you guys see the slide?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the essential elements of on-page SEO. So titles, okay? The title tag impacts clicks. So if you look at this, so when we were talking about the Good Tea earlier, right? This is the result that shows up in the Google search engine result. And so this clickable link here, this is the title tag, okay? So you want to make sure your keyword is in this title tag and preferably to as close to the front as possible. Okay, that's why sometimes you'll see websites that actually say fair trade organic cotton t-shirts and then the brand, like good tea after that, because you want this in the front. So add your keywords to the title tag of every product page, right? And preferably closer to the front. So say you have a product like for example, yours, right, Claire, you have like backpacks, right?
Mine's like vegan leather bags by White Rhino, and then it kind of goes into the rest of the keywords.
Right.
Yeah.
So you would put that front in the first, and then you have your meta description, which is these 2 sentences that are underneath it. So, that should say 155 to 160 characters. That's how many you should have in here that have your keywords. Again, right here, fair trade, organic clothing. So you want to have that in your meta description, and then also in your URL. So make sure that your URL also contains the keyword. Okay. And and also in your image, your alt text in your images, or it's called image alt text, you want to write a brief description of this image so it improves SEO, and it also helps the visually impaired. That's the whole point of what the image alt text is for. It describes what the picture is for visually impaired people. So yes.
For the customize your URL with a keyword, can you give an example of that?
I think I have that. It's coming up.
Okay.
I'm going to go into your URL structures after. Okay, so are we clear about title tags right now?
May I ask for the alt text and the images? Would you necessarily do that to like every picture on every page, or just like key ones, or ideally?
Yeah, every image. Every image.
All right, shoot.
Yes. You want to add an alt text to every image on the page, right? Let's describe what the image is. Plus, you want to save your image, the file name, with the keyword in it.
Oh, geez.
Okay. Don't just save it as image 1, image 2, image 3, .jpeg or whatever. Like, put the keyword in the file name. Okay, that also helps. So headlines. The headlines are the part that's the top of your article or blog. It would be an H1 header, and then followed by H2, H3, which would be your subheaders. So you want to create attention-grabbing headlines. So to writing headlines, you would put like a number or trigger word, plus an adjective, plus a keyword, plus your promise. So for example, the first, say you want to write an article on how to sell your house, right? So how to improve that would be how you can effortlessly sell your home in 10 days. Okay? So, or a number would be like, for example, here, 5 ways to blah, blah, blah. Apparently, I read somewhere that number 5 and 10 are like really good at conversion. So 5 ways to blah, 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 10 ways to blah, blah, blah. Make sure that your titles are short and sweet, so about between 6 to 8 words. And then use interesting adjectives. And also try using a social plugin for shares. You know how sometimes you see like blogs and beside it that says like has a Facebook, Twitter like thing that people can share on their social media. So you can add that, and that will help. Another tip. So Google really puts weight into the first 100 words on the page. So make sure you use your keywords in the first 100 words. Okay. And then in terms of internal linking, so internal linking is linking to other pages on your own website. Okay. So an example of like Why does Wikipedia do so well? Because they have so many internal links to it, right? You go on a Wikipedia page and you see like all these highlights and things that link to other pages within Wikipedia. So that's the power of internal linking. And then make sure that the link contains the keyword. So an anchor text, that's a highlighted part that you click on. And so put the keyword in that. It's called the anchor text. That's the clickable link that takes you to the other page. Okay, so here we're talking about URL structures. Okay, so some tips are, okay, short URLs perform well. So 50 characters around. You want to have around 50 characters in the URL. Google stated the first 3 to 5 words are given more weight. Right, so that's what I mentioned before. So having keywords are closer to the front. Avoid ugly URLs. You know how sometimes like some websites have like, it's like a super, super long URL that's just not very pretty. You want to clean that up and be able to structure it so that you have your keywords then in there. Dates hurt your page relevance. So try not to put, like, for example, in an article, don't date your articles and putting the dates in it, because they'll crawl it. Google will crawl it, and then it'll be like, oh, because your information looks outdated, it's dated with 2019, it reduces the relevance. So try not to do that. Use hyphens, not underscores. So it would be like, say, www.website.com/ and then you'd say, you'd have your word like, for example, sustainable clothing brand. So sustainable clothing brand is how you would do it. Use a lowercase. And also, for example, so here use maximum of 2 folders per URL.
What does that mean?
Okay, so that means like it's like the directory. It's like, for example, you go to your home page, right? And then think of that as here, a picture. So this is how you want to structure your site. The top is your home page, like, right? So they land on your home page, and then say you have like a navigation that takes you down. So that's one folder, and then it takes you down to the next. And you see this second folder, third folder. That's what I mean. 1 folder, 2 folder, 3 folders. So every time there's a slash,
right.
it's another folder that takes you down further and further. So that's what I'm saying. Maximum of 2 folders if you can't avoid it. Sometimes product pages need to have more, because you have your home page, and then you might categorize and say like, maybe you have clothing, accessories, and then it might say like, tops, bottoms, that kind of thing. And then it might go down to like, you might have tops, bottoms, dresses or something. And then like these subdirectories that fall under that. But try not to like go too much, and that's why you want to structure your pages and as cleanly as you can.
What about landing pages? Where would those fall on that?
Landing pages, well, it could be a separate thing, right? So it's a URL, it's on its own.
Okay.
And the thing is that like it could be a link from your homepage to the landing page, or you might have a link to it somewhere on your homepage or within one of your other pages to the landing page. But you want to be able to write that landing page as well as you want to be able to use the keywords in the URL same way, right? Use the title tag, meta descriptions, everything, because Google's basically ranking, it's not ranking the website as a whole, it's ranking the pages. So you can actually, instead of trying to rank your whole website and go, oh my God, I have to optimize this whole website, like this is gonna be nuts, right? Like so much work. Go in and focus on one page. One page in your website you want to rank for, whether it's your your product page, your about us page or something, go in and optimize that.
Is it
And just
acceptable
go
then to have different keywords for each one? To
Yeah,
in a feature?
totally.
Oh,
Totally. And I've actually read that, it's better to rank for one keyword per page.
really?
And when you have the keyword in the page, so make sure you have it, your URL has the keyword, make sure your title tag, your meta description, all your alt images, and your content, and your headers. Those are all the areas you got to have your keyword in, your content. And in the content itself, like, don't overdo it. Like, using it about 6-7 times is about good. Don't go in there and put it in 100 times, because you could incur a penalty for keyword stuffing. It's called keyword stuffing. So there used to be this technique, like back in the day, when Google wasn't as sophisticated, and all they looked at was like how many times the keyword showed up on the page. So people would just put the keyword in 100 times, and then your site would like rank number 1. But Google's gotten smarter, right? And now they'll penalize people who do keyword stuffing, because now they're focusing more on customer experience more than trying to rank for to achieve like higher rankings. They want to make sure that the site is relevant, right?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just a bit confused. How do you avoid keyword stuffing?
Don't put in the keywords like 100 times. Like, it's like, try to use the keyword maybe 6 times.
In the whole website?
Not the whole, on the page.
Okay.
On the page. So for example, if you want to rank for a keyword for one of your pages, so Claire, like it was vegan leather, what was it?
Vegan leather bags, or usually it's more specific, like vegan leather shoulder bag tote, or like something very for black or something like.
Yeah, exactly. So vegan leather shoulder bag. So exactly, say that was your product page. So if that's a page you want to rank for, make sure you cover all those areas like I mentioned, right? Making sure you put it in, like, your title tags, your meta description, your header, in your URL. Make sure you put those keywords in there, and also in your content. And this is also sometimes problematic. I see with product pages, there's not enough text on there, right? So beef up your description more. Again, put your keywords in there. And then I like to tell people to, like, in the description, try to talk about, most people just talk about features, it's made of this, it's size this, that's it, right? But I'm like, kind of explain more, maybe tell the story behind the product, give the people more of a feeling, like put more emotion into it. I think tell a story.
But also with keywords, or maybe not in the description.
Yeah, like in product description, you're probably using the keyword once is enough, right?
Okay.
Like, I'm talking about like a full-length blog post where you could actually use it in there like more times, right? Maybe 6 times max. But you're talking like in 1,800 words. But a product description, you don't want to go crazy with that. So put it in the right areas, like I mentioned, and then put it in your description. But kind of beef up all your descriptions more, right?
So you're trying to focus on ranking for just a couple of pages at the beginning. So for example, I make jewelry.
Yeah.
So should I try to rank on the, say, earrings page instead of an individual product page?
Well, yeah, like, is there a specific pair of earrings that you want to bring traffic to?
Um,
Or just all your earrings in general?
I mean, hopefully all of them.
Yeah, like, you could have your earrings page so as one of your subdirectories, you put in earrings, and then you can put the keywords in that page. So put a description, right? So if it's what is unique about your earrings? Or
Also, I use the macrame technique, but I use it's when you think of macrame, you think about like more like hippie style jewelry, and my jewelry has a twist of being more like boho chic, modern, urban chic style.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I would totally put that in your description then for your product page, or for
Okay.
that specific landing page that you have.
Can we try a thing in your Uber suggest? Let's try the, how did you say it? Modern macrame jewelry or something, and like see
what
like
it
a case
comes up.
study, you know? Sorry, I just think that would be so fun. Because that's how you would do it, right? Like in theory, like you would research those keywords and then see like
You want to
how
see.
accessible they are.
Yep, exactly.
That's so
I'm
cool.
trying to find where.
Yeah. Here.
Like so many windows open. Okay, let's go back to this. So it's kind of good to have a small group, because then we can like.
Just to give you an idea.
Yeah. So what did you want it to call it? It was
Awesome.
Modern macrame, or jewelry or earrings.
macrame jewelry.
Like I try not to use the word macrame on my descriptions too much because of the connotations that the word has. So I usually say, when I describe it to people, like I usually say textile and brass.
Just curious to see what this says. Oh,
It would be interesting to see if macrame has a lower like entry point than textiles does, to see like the difference, or to test that.
I think it's. I'm going to do it in SEM Rush right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to give it more or like an urban feel. That's why I don't use the word macrame that much.
Yeah. Yeah. That might be very niche down. You might want to go one level like broader. Like maybe, what did you say before? Bohemian?
Boho chic.
Boho chic. Okay. I did research on this. Because boho chic was actually, let me go into keyword analytics. My site is just, my internet is just not the best right now. I know boho chic was. Yes. Do you want to rank in Canada?
Yes, ideally. And eventually expand one day, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, you focus on where your customer database is the biggest.
Yeah.
If it's in Canada right now, then we'll keep it in Canada right now. But I think because I'm running Zoom at the same time, my internet is slow. Because this is usually a lot faster at loading. Yeah.
So would you recommend, for example, instead of like a long tail keyword, would it be like boho chic jewelry instead of just boho chic?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It could be, yeah, I think boho chic jewelry. Because like boho chic is like, it's got a pretty high search volume, but look at the keyword difficulty. This was a pretty hard, like hard to rank keyword, because my client, so Gem Atelier, calls herself as a like boho chic bohemian fashion. I was like, yeah, that like when I type in bohemian fashion, the first result came up was Free People.
Oh, yeah.
Free People is a huge brand, right? And they have a high domain authority. Here, oh, this is another thing I want to show you. So here's information. That's why boho chic. Maybe if I tried boho chic jewelry. Oh, did I spell jewelry right? Jewelry.
There's like 4 different ways to spell it. And they're all right. So I spell it Jeyelry.
Like this?
Yeah.
Let's see what that says.
One way.
This is very interesting.
Linus,
Yes.
this website is so cool.
Oh, SEMrush is amazing.
There's a bunch of these.
So it's awesome for keyword research and also like competitive analysis. It'll tell you what keywords your competitors are ranking for. And it also has this cool tool called position tracking. So I plugged in all the keywords. Like I set up projects for my clients and I put in all the keywords and it saves it. And then it'll tell you which keywords your site's ranking for, and then you can really like slowly see like how it's progressing and which keywords you start ranking for. It's all on a chart. It's really cool.
Very
cool. So for that, yeah, this is like lower search volume, and obviously it's like not as competitive. So could be a good one to go for. Like, but try other keywords as well, right?
Get all 10 of those people though.
Get all 10 of these people, but you got different keyword variations. Also, another way you can do it is go into Google and plug it in, and then it'll give you recommended as well. So you can add those to it. One thing I wanted to show you was this. So for example, when I check like bohemian fashion, I think. And so this one, last time I checked, Free People was #1 for bohemian clothing. And so because she wanted to rank for this keyword. So there's a tool here. It's a Mozbar extension. So it's a Chrome extension that you install, and it tells you the domain authority for every website. So it's loading really slow.
That's cool.
So it's a Chrome extension. You install it. And once you're logged in, it will add like this bar at the bottom of your website. And then so say if I click on this website for Free People, and this is when I'm doing competitive analysis because I want to see like what the domain authorities is, because it from 0 to 100. So the higher the number, the higher the domain authority is. And so for this company here, it's loading really slow, but you should be able to see here at the bottom, it'll tell you. Anyways, when this loads, can you guys see this Moz thing at the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so when this loads, it should tell you, it should say DA, and it'll tell you the domain authority. And I checked for them, they're like in the 60s. Like that's pretty high. Okay, so can have ambitions of going from like if my client is currently like ranking like has a domain authority of 10 or something, and you kind of expect to get to numbers like to compete. Like this is not a competitor. I wouldn't don't put yourself in like compared to this brand. Like I would try to find more like independent fashion brands with a lower domain authority. So I was trying to like find ones that are maybe like 20, 30s to 40 domain authorities, more independent brands, and then go after that. So that's also another thing you guys can do. So yeah, so I just showed you a way to check your competitors' domain authorities here.
Cool.
So lastly, I think, let me go back to the presentation here. Oops. So, okay, that covers for on-page SEO. So off-page SEO, I talked about, which was the third component of SEO, which is the most important part is called link building. And so actually there's a direct correlation of the number of links a site has to the domain authority. So like I said, right, with the Free People site, which they have a high domain authority, but they have like a lot of backlinks, like a lot. It was something I can't even remember, but it was like thousands of backlinks. So these are links that are linking from other websites, linking back to their website. Okay, so this is an important part of SEO, is getting links back to your website. So how do you do that? You know, you can do some guest posting. So you can ask to be a guest blogger on a site that's related to your niche. You can be interviewed, get some PR going, and be featured on different media outlets. You can work with influencers, and so that helps with increasing your visibility. That's if they have good SEO themselves, so that they can post on your website.
Would this also be on a per page basis, or is this a more overall?
Well, they would link back to your website.
Okay, so like a home page would be fine. You wouldn't necessarily want to have backlinks for each individual page?
No.
No, okay.
Yeah, I would do the homepage.
I have a question.
Unless you have something like an article that you want to drive traffic to, and say if you are being featured on something, another blog, and then you want them to go to see this particular blog that you have that's relevant to the article you're writing to, you may want to link to that, right? So ask them to put the URL, like use the anchor text in the blog article. Use the anchor text that highlights like back to your article, right? That's also another way of doing it. It doesn't have to be your homepage. It could be anywhere you want to drive the traffic to, and build like your page's authority. And so one last thing also you can do is something called brand reclamation. That's by reaching out to a host of another site, and say you go into and you find an article, and it happens that, it might be like, how sometimes you get those 401s that says page is not there, something like the link is broken, the link is not working, and then or maybe something's wrong with it. You can go and reach out to the host and tell them, this link is not working, but I have a blog post on this topic, so you may want to link to my page, right? So here's
That's
the correct link. So that's another way to do it. So these are some strategies for building off-page SEO.
What about using Pinterest? So when I started using Pinterest recently, and then so I'll post like a picture and then I'll link it back to the website. Does that count?
Absolutely. You know, Pinterest is actually it's more like a search engine than social media. Like people actually are saying Pinterest is a search engine, really, because you're doing searches and it's like a database. It brings up all these different results and then it links, right? Usually it links to something else. So definitely using Pinterest is one way to build it. It's like, yeah, and social media, right? Is putting your links there as well. So this was just a quick little slide that was from my other presentation on keyword research in terms of how long it takes for something to rank. So this chart just basically tells you, like, say something with low volume, like I talked about keywords that low volume, that high here. That they're not as competitive, will rank within like 120 days. That's like 4 months. Where something that's like, you know, medium, higher volumes take longer to rank. So generally, like SEO takes like 4 to 6 months to work. It's like, think of it as it's a long game, right? It takes time, and it's like planting seeds in the ground. You do that, and then you slowly, you know, build it up, and then you'll start to see the seeds will start to sprout and start to grow. But that takes time and patience. So you can't really expect to see a lot of results, but if you implement a lot of the strategies that I went over today, you should see something. Because like I did all that stuff for the Good Tea that basically started from scratch, and I saw her site start ranking for keywords like in a matter of like about 3 months. She was ranking for like her fair trade organic cotton t-shirts wholesale. That was like her number one. So yeah, so it works. And if you have any questions, here's my contact. And also, yeah, you can follow me on at glynnistao.com, Glynnistao, and you can email me at hello@glynnistao.com. I'm just gonna stop this.